To meet up, not to really like hang out, to meet up and have a discussion. Would you respond? Are you willing or open to meeting?
There's no point because there's even more. There's even more. And then now Quick and Clifton have met up and apparently...
Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Book 91. Listen, we're talking to you guys about Love and Marriage DC episode 2 of season 3. Look, I want to be honest with you. Question I'm asking right now, is Ashley jealous of Joy? Because the way that Ashley's going about it, it does feel a little bit jealousy, right? And so it's giving a little bit like, yay, she might be a little bit jealous. In fact, let me move over a little bit, camera. Move the camera because that little thing there can stay there. But it's giving a little bit of jealousy, a little bit, just a little bit. But I think there's a deeper thing here with Ashley, right? I think with Ashley, you know, she's a very she wants people to be very loyal, right? And when you go against the loyalty that she's offered you, it feels like a major betrayal because of the way that she's been brought up. I know that with the mom abandonment, it may have felt like Arena was abandoning her as a friend, and therefore the feelings that she might have felt towards Arena have intensified because it's actually a wound that's from childhood. Now that's my particular perspective, but you know the way she dealt with Joy in that last episode weren't cute at all. It wasn't nice. I made you no, but that wasn't the only thing that happened on this episode. And obviously, Arena confirmed that she felt like Ashley was jealous of Joy, and I think she was more jealous of the friendship that Joy and Arena have, rather than actually being jealous of Joy itself, because of the possessive nature that Ashley might have when it comes to her friends. Because again, it links back to abandonment. And then I think obviously with little Jamie, Quick wasn't accountable with little Jamie. I needed him to be accountable. He tried to dissuade the situation. Little Jamie little Jamie should have gone to the internet, but he was hurting. And Quick should just apologize from the very jump instead of trying to explain himself all the way through, because he was wrong. Wrong because you know the kid, and it's not like you don't know him. And so that's why he felt some type of way, all right? Then obviously we had Joy and Clifton. Now, Clifton, why are you so close with Carmen? It's too much. It's too much. They joke about the throuple situation, her grabbing your beard. Let me tell you this now. I'm a very person that if I feel like you're trying to mash up my relationship with you touching me, I will nuke you. And I will get rid of you. If you play these games with me when I love somebody and you are getting that close, I will fight you. So, you know, Clifton doing that with Carmen is too much. It's too close. I think it's not necessary. And then to add some injury to insult, what he does later on, which is then he ends up, you know, saying to Joy, you didn't do good enough job, and I'm going to pass it to Carmen. It's double whammy. It's injury to insult. And then obviously the fellas get together at the very end when they talk about wrestling, but they say about, can you do business together? I'm going to break it a bit more down in the next few minutes for you guys. Well, that was a quick recap, but I'm going to break down each individual scene, play a little bit of the clip so you guys can see it, and then have a conversation as well from there. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate y'all. Stay locked and stay loaded as well. And we can't wait to chop it up on this channel with you as well. But before we do, let me first and foremost, you know, get a little intro going, and we'll get into the show as well. All right, much appreciation, guys. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. I appreciate y'all.
Little Black Book, you know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is.
All right, let's get into this video. Let's play the very first clip again, and let's get into the conversation.
The petties seem to think that I am jealous of his faux-locked ass wife. I am genuinely confused at these people that you are such close.
Now, Ashley doesn't realize, I think she's got a blind spot. She's unknowingly very competitive. And now, if you listen to the description just used, they seem to think I am jealous of this faux-locked wife, Joy. Why does she have to add the faux-locked in there? Well, because in reality, when it comes to female competition, one of the things that women tend to do is to insult the other person, to try and devalue them and lower their value and their stock. So when it comes to female dynamics in terms of competition, there's a thing called denigrating. You have to denigrate the other person, let the person know that you're devaluing their stock. And so that comment was a devaluing comment. There was no need for it, right? She didn't need to do that, but she did it. Instead of just saying that people said I'm jealous, she added the insult with a low comment shade, almost as if it should fly by. But if you're smart enough, you catch it. So that's why people are going to start saying you're jealous, Ash, because you don't realize you're still you're insulting Joy in the midst of even this moment now. Now, Do you agree that you don't feel jealous? Maybe you don't feel jealous, but I think you have a little bit of jealousy, not towards Joy, but to the friendship that Arena and Joy have. I think you were a little bit hurt by the fact that Joy and Arena are like that, and that Arena didn't take your side immediately because you promote loyalty and you expect people to be on your side, not because you're a bad person, but simply because the way that you deal with friendships, right? You gave her the D, and that when you give someone the D, they have a higher level of estimation and esteem as a friend in your eyes, and you expect them to be loyal to you. That's what we expect of friendships. We expect them to be loyal to us. But Arena is playing Switzerland, but meanwhile kind of being outside of Geneva and kind of being in Italy and Germany and Holland at the same time. You know, she's kind of being in all the space because by her defending Joy, you felt like she came out of Switzerland. She no longer was playing the middle ground. She now had taken the side of Joy. And I think that's what you felt. You felt that Arena had taken Joy's side, and in that moment, she became your OPP, you became your op. And look, I think Arena was making very clear, we both were angry, and we both weren't going to calm down. The fact that Ashley wanted her to calm down, Ashley, you wanted her to calm down. But she's trying to tell you, I wasn't going to calm down when you weren't going to calm down. Neither of us was going to calm down. Actually, if you thought that she should calm down, you should have calmed down first. If you truly believed that what she was doing was out of pocket, you have to calm down first and then show her the way. But you didn't, right? You were also angst. And of course, you might say that her hand was in her face. I hear it. But if you had calmed yourself down and walked away, Arena has nothing to fight with. She fought because you were fighting. So you just gotta be open to that and just be aware of that as well, right? So that's my little 2 penny pence in that. It was meant to be a 2 penny pence. I spent like 4 minutes on it.
Give me the win. Good. Keep it going.
Sorry.
I thought I was the only one that had the kicked out title.
Shoot.
It's nice to pass it along.
Baby, listen.
It's crazy because now Winter on the outside and Joy, Winter Joy, baby, now are both outside of the group now, or at least the essential two are now outside and they've joined forces. I want Ashley to be very careful because first it was Winter and now Joy. You're seemingly alienating people, Ashley. And I get it that you are a loyal babe, and I get it that you want certain level of behavior from certain people, but you're starting to alienate people. And when you start to do that, you start to gather enemies unnecessarily. Now, you may feel you can take on the whole world, but you can't. Nobody can. And you don't want your family to be collateral damage in all of this situation too. And when I mean this, I don't mean in terms of violence. I'm talking in terms of emotional welfare and emotional mentality and emotional regulation and just being, just thinking about our mental welfare. You don't want people that don't like you. You don't want it to be a consistent theme. You don't want it to be a consistent pattern now where if you look at women that get around you, as soon as they get around you, you start feeling jealous, you start feeling annoyed, you start isolating them, and you cast them out into the wilderness of the Antarctica. You don't want to be that because they're gonna finally gather up like Winter and Joy have. They're gonna gather themselves up and eventually gonna gang up on you. A smart person knows it's not everyone that has to be made an enemy. Sometimes just pacify your enemy. You know what I mean? You don't have to let them know that you're vexed. Pacify the enemy. Okay, sometimes you just got to do that and keep them sweet. I know she doesn't like doing that. She doesn't want to be fake. The reality is sometimes that's how you win the battle. Oh, sorry, that's how you win the war, not the battle. We're going to get on to Clifton.
On a business level. What up?
What up, dog? Ooh.
Smell that? It's called masculinity.
You smell that? It's bullcrap. Look, I need you to stop that. Okay, listen, I'm very sorry. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's my culture. Maybe it's my insecurity. This is way too touchy-feely for me in a relationship like this. Like, if you touch me like that, you are not my friend if you touch me like that. Don't ever in your life, if I have a girl, touch me like that. That is out of bounds and out of order. There's personal touches that are reserved for partners. That was a partner touch. And this whole joke about throuples, it keeps extending because of things like this. You know, no wonder why I think I just saw a video where Carmen is cussing Joy out. Well, why wouldn't it? Because if I'm seeing behavior like this, why wouldn't you cuss Joy out? Because if you're willing to touch him like this, why wouldn't there be a cussing? You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, this doesn't make no sense. I'm going to try and reach out to Carmen and try and get on, but you know how I feel about it. If you're going to come on my show, you got to do a proper interview. We don't come and address the tea. Come and do a proper interview and do it. So shout out if Carmen watches this, if you're watching this, do a proper interview with me and I'll happily do it, but we don't do the tea stuff straight away. You got to come and do a proper interview. But they were like this on Ready to Love. You know? Them not had a whole plan. I was meant to interview Clifton, Joy. They had a whole plan. And they operate in a particular way. And it was Carmen's plan. Now it's falling apart and seemingly, or at least I'll say it seemingly has, only because I saw her on Kamisha Review's video too. But the reality of the situation is, in this scenario, it's way too comfortable. And Clifton has the girl, so he has to keep the boundary. And if he doesn't, he's at fault because Carmen doesn't have the man. Carmen hasn't got the boyfriend. Clifton is the boyfriend of Joy. Sorry, the husband of Joy. He needs to work it appropriately and say, these boundaries are too far for me. But maybe Joy wants that and maybe she likes that. I don't know, but I doubt it. But that for me was a way too far. And I felt like it was too much touchy-feely. I didn't think that was necessary. And I thought that's how you get into trouble in your relationship, when you don't shut down things like that, especially with their history as well. That's crazy.
Him to be more expressive. Like, I don't want to have to guess how you feel, and he'll talk about it, but it's just not, I like love, Candace.
You do.
We know you love winter. We know you love winter love. We know you love winter. Okay. All right. And I hear you. A lot of women do oftentimes express that they want their men to be more vocal. The reality of the situation, a lot of men have not been raised this way and they rather show you love through their actions. The question is, can you interpret the actions? And the question is, can he explain what his actions actually mean when he does this? Now, they had a conversation, I believe, in the first episode, if I'm correct, where they explained about obviously his actions, I think, or maybe I saw a preview, and he was explaining his actions, saying, I love in this particular way. And sometimes you're asking for more, and they haven't got more to give. He has not got the capacity to be all lovey-dovey with his words. He shows you through his action. The question is, are you going to be okay with that? Right? The question is, can you cope with that in a relationship term? Can you cope with that long term? Can you cope with that in a relationship? Is that going to be okay? Or is that going to be enough? Or is it not going to be enough? Is this a complaint that's just really one of those complaints? Or is it a complaint that I really do need that from you in order to make this relationship work? I think you should assess that. What is it, a want or a need? But I definitely understand her about wanting him to express. A lot of men, again, like I said, have not had the opportunity to express their actual emotions. So don't actually oftentimes speak the language of emotions because it doesn't resonate with them, because they never had to be educated in that space and never had to have input and knowledge in that particular area because it never benefited them on a day-to-day. So I definitely understand that as well. Let's get a little bit of the beef between Jamie and Quicksilver as well.
We had an issue with something I said on TV. A grown man, you reached out to me. The same way you could text me about getting in the club or anything. What grown men don't ever do is take real issues to the internet. That's corny.
Now, he may say it's corny, but you said something on national television. You didn't need to. You called him a bad kid on national television. Now, I hear what he's saying. He has a point. Taking it to the internet doesn't solve our issues as men. We should go one-to-one. But my thing is also, well, you shouldn't have said it on national television. You didn't say this behind the scenes. You said this on national television. So I'm addressing it personal. I'm addressing it publicly because you addressed me publicly. So don't call me corny at the time of this, on that situation when it wasn't done privately. If it was done privately, then I would understand what you're saying. But you didn't do it privately. You called me a bad kid in public whilst obviously making a comparison between myself and your own kid instead of using yourself as a comparison, which little Jamie made a point and I thought was an excellent point. Why didn't you use yourself? Now, I'm not saying that little Jamie isn't a bad kid. I think he's a bad kid. And if he watches this, I've done said it. I think you're a bad kid. I think you was a little bad kid at the time. I think you needed some guidance and some help and you was acting, moving mad. But again, I'm far removed. I don't know you like that. I'm not your friend. I'm not your uncle. I'm not your cousin. So I'm not family. But Quick has obviously become your mentor almost. And for him to say that in public, I get why you went on the internet. Now, I would have said you need to be regulated emotionally so you don't go and say something you don't want to say and say something you have to take back. That's why I would say emotional regulation is important, because he going to fly off the handle and say something on the internet and he can't take it back. And then you ruin a relationship when you really could have had a conversation behind the scenes, which I do agree with Quick there in that area, right? There could have been a conversation behind that. So a more mature person would have had a conversation behind the scenes. You know, stating the whole real men do it's almost like a dig. Like real men do, stop that. Okay? Because real men don't, he can say the same thing to you and say real men would have not spoken about me in that particular way, in that particular fashion, and compared me to their son instead of comparing themselves to it. Right? So I can understand that point of view too. So there's a little bit on both sides I'm seeing where they were coming from. I felt like, again, Silver kind of passed the buck a little bit. He kind of, instead of taking accountability for hurting Jamie, he and then he gave a really crappy apology. I hate people that give apologies like, if I hurt you, you know you hurt me. I'm telling you, you hurt me. And actually, that's the one thing that I never saw Quick actually address. The pain that little Jamie actually had. I never really saw little Jamie actually address that particular pain, and I felt sorry for little Jamie because I felt like he had been ignored by Quick in that instance, and had been bypassed by Quick, and actually, he hasn't said or addressed the actual pain and the center point and origin of the pain that little Jamie had. So I do actually feel for him as well in that area, and I wish that Quick would have addressed certain points in that vein and fashion and manner as well. Let me go to here, sorry.
And the copyright. Carmen definitely is a doer, and you can say the throuple pushes one another to success.
You're still.
Yeah, Joy's lip formation is telling me she's not impressed by the situation, and she's not impressed by Carmen. The lip, she great. That's telling me she's not impressed by that. Now, it's a passive-aggressive move by her, but she's not impressed by the throuple situation. And I need you to be honest about it. If you feel like their relationship is too far for you, Joy, let him know. You don't need to be okay with this. You don't need to be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Of course, obviously, Carmen's their PR. When I met Clifton through Carmen last 2 years. Shout out to Carmen. She was a very inviting person, very warm, very beautiful. Succulent. Ooh, maybe she was fine. Okay, all right. Can't lie to you. Those eyes, I almost got lost. But the reality of the situation is, right, if you're not comfortable, Joy, you got to let her know. You got to let her know that you're not comfortable with that situation, that their relationship may need to change a little bit, because there's this, calling it a throuple, whatever it is, maybe it's for TV, I don't know. But it just seems a little bit off. And the fact that Carmen's cussing Joy out now tells me that there was bad blood way before this. There was obviously something boiling underneath the surface, and it's just now come out. But really and truly, it's always been there as well. So that's another thing to discuss in that instance as well. And then I think the last two parts I want to focus on is Ashley again. Kind of.
You have a problem? Should I send to Clifton a separate text? Don't come.
Oh, if you cool with him, you be cool with him. You be cool with the guy who told you your wife is using his karaoke single wife to get on.
Maybe she.
There, Ashley again once more letting us know that she is not over the situation, and that she has not forgiven Joy. And then she's almost inadvertently, kind of passively aggressively letting him know, I want to let you know that I'm not cool with Clifton being your friend. I want you to take the hint, but I'm not going to say it outright. Again, the passive aggressiveness from Ashley in this instance. She's usually a direct person, but she's kind of letting Quick know, I'm letting you know you don't need to be around Clifton. Like, she's letting him know. It's a little bit controlling. She just needs to just chill on that. The reason why I'm saying that needs to chill on it is because at the end of the day, like he said, Clifton's in the group. But not only just that, he doesn't have a beef with Clifton. You have a beef with Joy. And of course, yes, Clifton has a little bit of a beef by saying she feels that he's jealous. But they don't really have a beef. You know what I mean? Your beef is with Joy. Let Quick deal with Clifton. You know what I mean? Let you deal with Joy. Let him deal with Clifton. Let men deal with men. You don't have to get involved in that. And I know she's not necessarily getting in his face or anything, but again, let it go. Some things just need to be let go. As my dad said to me, some things just don't need to be addressed because it just causes more mayhem. And I totally get it as well.
Yeah. So I got a question. So I know all y'all do business with your spouses, right? You're gonna butt heads.
Absolutely.
Eventually. So how does that work?
My short answer is don't.
Now, listen, I like this conversation because we're talking about obviously bumping heads and also as well doing business with partners. And of course, Clifton has gone to Joy and said that Carmen would be a better fit for the job. Crazy. I just felt like it was a double whammy. It hit Joy too hard to him to say that Carmen can take over. It was almost like a slap in the face. And he has to be very, very careful that he doesn't start creating animosity and resentment in his relationship that will build and take over one day. But, the situation of doing business with partners is difficult. And because separating personal and business is almost impossible. You can't separate the two. They are interlinked because the two people are personable. The two people are cool. So, it's almost impossible to remove that aspect of the situation, right? So yeah, just that for me. I just felt like, like you can't remove that. Okay. And that can't go away. So I definitely understand that not doing business with family and friends because it gets messy. And when it goes wrong, we only have each other left. And this can cause some angst and some turmoil amongst each other as well. So I want to leave it there, man. Listen, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. Hope you enjoyed the review.
Little black book. You know what time